Hey,
All right. How's that?
hey,
What's going on?
how's it going?
It's going. What about you?
It's going okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. Good, good. How's that? Here? Sound is good?
The sound is good. Is my sound good?
Yeah, yeah, you're good.
All right. There's only four people watching so far, so we can like stall for a little bit.
That's fine. That's fine.
Your hair's getting longer.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
When's the last time you cut it?
um, January was the last haircut.
Okay.
But this has been going for January of last year.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean, I
mean,
remember. I remember when you started like dyeing it, spiking it up, but it's gotten really it's long now.
yeah. I just you just kind of let it go. Like it's doing its own thing now.
Yeah. I
So
had I had friends who smartly got haircuts just before this all began. Sarah cut my hair. She did an okay job.
it looks cool though.
I think yeah, she gave me a very sort of like new wave, got a goth haircut. Like remember the goth kids in South Park?
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's that. It's like
It works though.
yeah, but with the
See?
mustache, I look kind of like I don't know, maybe Charlie Chaplin or Harry Houdini or Edgar
Like
Allan
the
Poe.
much cooler version though.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Cooler than Charlie Chaplin.
Well,
Possible.
you're Natty.
Hmm.
So,
Oh, shucks, thanks.
how is Sarah?
Sarah's good. She's good.
Good,
She's at work right now.
good, good, good.
She's got. She's working today. She's taking an extra shift tomorrow and getting hazard pay and all kinds of stuff, which is nice.
Good, good, good. Like
Um,
to hear that.
yeah. So, as it's funny, we were saying that the one thing that like, even though she was at higher risk and she did get COVID briefly, we knew she was never in danger of losing her job. And
Yeah, she'll
I
be
mean,
good for.
that's like the one silver lining. Even though she is at much higher risk of getting sick and stuff, she's never not gonna be working.
Right. Oh,
Um, how are you? How's your family? Everyone doing okay?
everyone's good. Everyone's good. You know, good, locked in. Trying
What's
not
it
to go
like in the
crazy.
Bronx?
Um, just a lot of masks, and I tell you, it's like I'm like a 68-year-old guy. I go to the market. I get three
Right.
bananas every day.
Three bananas.
That's it. I come home. I'm just in the walls.
You
That's
remember
just
how Obama used to eat like 7 almonds a day or something? He had like
seven almonds at night.
specific, yeah, specific number. I like that you got a specific number of bananas that you eat every day.
That's it.
Is it
That's,
just to get like a particular amount of potassium?
no, actually, I don't even know about potassium. It's
Okay.
really just so I can leave the house,
Oh,
so
okay.
I can have an excuse to go somewhere.
Right.
So, yeah,
Where do you do your shopping? Is it like a local grocery store or is it
yeah,
chain?
yeah, yeah. Because I used to try to be fancy and do delivery service, but no, that's not happening anymore.
How's your
So,
family in Florida doing?
oh, they're good. They can move around. They've got
Really?
cars. They've got
Yeah.
space. Um, and Florida in general is just a lot more lax about everything. So.
Right. Can you maybe explain to the rest of us who aren't from Florida why people in Florida are so, let's say, foolhardy, maybe, or reckless?
Um, it's a lot of those like sort of freedom toting kind of Trumpies.
Okay.
So yeah, they're just down there. They've got space. I don't think they understand what it is to be basically on top of everyone else.
Right.
So they're thinking, okay, well, I've got a half acre of space, an acre of space. I'm in my car. Why
Yeah.
do I really need to lock down? So
Sure.
they're definitely not taking it as seriously,
Yeah.
which, you know,
You know, Sarah's grandpa lives in Fort Walton Beach, and he's 80 years old. And up until like, a week after New Orleans had gone on lockdown, he was still like driving spring breakers around in a in an Uber, and then apparently he took a walk down the beach. And I mean, I kind of love him for this, but it's totally like a bad idea. He was walking down the beach, and some like beach cop guard stopped him and said, "You have to go home. Where do you live?" And he said, "Oh, I live like 2 miles that way."
yeah.
And he's like, "What? You're way too far from your home." And he goes, "Oh, I didn't realize I walked all the way to a communist country." It's like, dude, they're trying to protect you. You're 80.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, then you've got the protesters like in Michigan and
Yeah.
liberate the country.
Right.
They'd rather die free than live in prison. It's like, all right, guys,
Yeah.
just take it easy.
Seriously.
It's just, everyone's
Yeah.
just trying to
What about what are you drinking?
martini. It's that
Uh,
time. It's a bit
with a
later
twist.
for me. Hmm?
Gin martini with a twist.
Of course. It's the
Nice.
only way to do it.
Did you see that they put every James Bond movie up this month
Yes. Yeah.
streaming, which is pretty
Yes.
exciting. I know you and I are both uh, Roger Moore fans.
Yes. And actually, I've become even more of a Roger Moore fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he combines everything from all the Bonds. He's got the cool suave of like a Pierce Brosnan.
Uh-huh.
Um, he's shrewd, kind of like a Sean Connery.
Okay.
But I still believe him in a fight. Like I never believed that Pierce Brosnan could actually knock someone out.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Good point.
So yeah, and like to your point, you've always said you kind of appreciate his sort of campy nature.
Yeah.
But he did it in such a debonnaire way that it's
Right.
absolutely endearing.
Well, I think there's something about it's funny because I was watching on Turner Movie Classics. They've also or Turner Classic Movies. They've also uploaded a whole bunch of Fred Astaire movies. And when I watch Fred Astaire or Cary Grant, for example, they're such debonair guys, but they're also very self-deprecating. And I feel like that's essential. I think if you're a suave dude and you take yourself too seriously, you kind of come off like a dickhead. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to be a little bit sort of, silly about it because you're like, yeah, I'm dressed up like, I'm wearing a top hat and tails and I'm tap dancing around an ocean liner. It's kind of funny and weird.
Of course I'm handsome.
It's not a normal thing to do.
Yeah. And I think we took Sean Connery like too seriously. That's what, and Roger Moore, probably the most handsome Bond, but
Moore,
you did see
Moore was the most handsome Bond?
Yeah, I think so. Most classically handsome Bond. Maybe
I think in terms of like if you were like measuring his face or something, probably.
Yeah.
But I think Brosnan's also up there.
Well, I am partial because Brosnan and I share the same birthday, so there is that. I don't know if that means anything, but and Remington Steele I was a big fan of, so there's that.
Okay.
But still, Roger Moore, best Bond.
Yeah, Sarah's favorite was Connery, but he turned out to be such an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, I'm and looking at we got some comments here, but no,
I know.
He's okay. All right, I know he's the first one, but Roger Moore is the best Bond.
Well, he's not the first one though, is he?
No. It's what was it? Because wasn't it like some American movie with like Jimmy Bond?
There was the Woody Allen movie,
Mm-hmm.
Casino Royale, which was like a joke movie, which had several people playing James Bond, including Woody Allen, Peter Sellers, David Niven.
Yep.
And then before all of that, there was a radio play that the BBC did of, I think, either Dr. No or Thunderball, before any of the movies were ever made. It was done in like the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander says Connery is one of the most striking looking Bonds ever. Yeah, striking women.
Yeah. He was
he was the most misogynistic of all the Bonds.
He was the least Me Too appropriate Bond.
Yeah, definitely.
He was. I think you got the sense that like women didn't actually have a chance to there was no sort of consent with Connery.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I remember there's one of them where he's at a pool and he says like, "Go away, honey, man talk."
Yeah.
Yeah, it has not aged well at all.
Oh no, and you got the sense at least like Pierce Brosnan or Roger Moore actually like charmed a woman, versus just saying, "Hey, we're gonna do this."
Right. Yeah, versus just grabbing them and kissing them until they like melt or something.
Yeah, just shoving them by the face. So.
Oh God, it's so bad.
It is.
Another question actually I do have for you though. So you still have family in Trinidad?
I do.
What's happening there? Because I haven't heard very much at all about Latin America at all, or the Caribbean.
There are a few cases in Trinidad, so there's definitely like this group chat or on WhatsApp that everyone's in and talking about. Much of the same. They're all kind of locked down, similar restrictions. So they're just coping the same way.
Yeah.
But I think once again they're not on top of each other like they are in New York. So.
What kind of a healthcare system do they have there?
I should know that. I think there is. Boy, I wish maybe somebody out there knows, because I certainly don't.
Okay. Fair enough.
Put that question to the viewers.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to definitely ask you about was um, one of the things you did even before this on social media was you
Hmm.
were so good at like posting about how you were enjoying your time at home.
Hmm.
Maybe this is partly because you had such a long commute, so you were often like at home for dinner and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So
Wait,
now, like everyone is, you've got like a head start on that. Everyone's doing that now.
well, everyone's doing that, and I kind of feel like I'm flexing on everyone because, you know, all of a sudden, I've got this large apartment, I've got space. I can basically do like cartwheels up and through my place. And all those people that live in boxes in like the East Village and stuff, they're
Yeah,
the ones stuck. Um, and all those sort of cool amenities that they were around.
yeah,
Yeah, don't get to do that. I have my space,
that's a good
so
point.
stretching out,
Yeah.
um, trying to learn French. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I need some French friends. Yeah.
I'm
So I've
trying
been
to take
going
up some
through.
French.
Hmm?
I'll speak French with you, not right now because I'm out of practice, but I do need to practice. We could do like a weekly French chat or a
I
daily
will do
French
that.
chat
I
if
will
you'd
do
like.
that. Yeah, not here because I.
No.
Um, but I've been going through that and just going through Jean-Luc Godard's pretty much everything from the '60s,
Hmm.
some Francois Truffaut. So
Oh.
that's a lot of the time, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, yeah. Just trying not to lose it.
Well, yeah. You seems like you're having a sort of cultured experience. You're not just like degrading into some sort of caveman. You haven't started like screaming at strangers and attacking people or
Not yet, not yet. I'm
yeah.
not the violent type anyway. Um, I will say I've definitely gone crazy, and like there are those days at like 5:30 in the morning. I think, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna cut my hair off, you know.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
can't do that. I don't want to be one of those people.
I've seen a lot of people do that. They've just gone
Yeah,
full Britney.
no, 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 can't do it.
Yeah.
Gotta hold on.
Yeah.
Can't be a statistic of the quarantine. So
Do you think I mean, do you think that's going to be one of the like trends in menswear, just like long hair when this is over? Or do you think everyone's going to have a buzz cut?
I think they're gonna have buzz cuts because they're thinking, all right, it's like a new beginning. It's summer. I
Yeah.
think, unfortunately, I do feel like there's some people who are trying to give themselves like their own fades and something that might be a bit more
Right.
difficult. So, they're in the mirror with their tutorials and
Yeah.
I tried it years ago. It didn't work well. It was really uneven back here. So I'll never do that again. But I do think you're going to see a lot of buzz cuts over the summer if
Yeah.
we see each other in the summer.
If we see each other in summer, I know. How long do you think it's going to be? I mean, you were supposed to be here for my wedding in November. We're right now. We were getting the invitations ready, but then we're like, well, we're going to hold off on sending invitations out because we don't even, we can't be sure to. We don't want to print something with a date on it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I was definitely excited about that. I feel like you're safe for
Mhm.
November, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think here we're definitely locked. I mean, what was it? Extended to the 15th of next month.
Right.
So we've got a little bit of time or a lot
Same
more
here.
time.
I
So,
think. Yeah. Um, and they just canceled Jazz Fest here.
oh,
Um, I know it's crazy, but I mean, I was supposed to be in France right now for this whole month, working on my book, and
Jesus.
so that's it's okay though, because it's always nice to have a deadline pushed back, even though.
The history of champagne in America, that is.
Yeah, supposedly we'll see. I've got to talk to my editor now because I mean I don't know what I'm so far behind because of this.
Hmm.
There's no research I can do here. I mean, there is some, but the main material I needed is in archives in Champagne, and it's not what's it called it's not digitized. Like those people don't have everything in searchable PDFs or anything like that. It's
Right.
all like big old books from the 19th century filled with indecipherable handwriting.
So you've got to be out there with the magnifying glass.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so, well, what you were saying earlier brings me back to another question. You're one of the few people I know, not few people I know, but you're one of the people I know who is going through this single.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got Alexa here. Uh, Alexa, what time is it? See, she's there.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you ever find her talking to you when you've said something that sounds like Alexa by accident?
Um, yes, yes. She just kind of pops up sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, And I was watching what was it, Next in Fashion with Tan France and Alexa Chung. And anytime he would call her name,
Yeah.
all of a sudden she's just asking me questions. So
Yeah, I mean, you've met Siri Moskowitz, right? She must have a hell of a time going around. Anytime anyone says her name, her phone probably starts yelling.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's probably a lot worse than Alexa.
Yeah.
God, every
But
time.
what I mean, so your family lives in the building, though, right? You have family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So
you're
I'm
not
not.
completely isolated, or from.
No, no. I do see human beings,
Right.
but for the most part, during the day, it is just me like walking back and forth. Um, Sometimes talking to myself,
Yeah.
sometimes dancing by myself, and making references that I'm like, oh, hey, oh, that's right. There's no one else here to understand this
Yeah.
reference. So,
Have you been watching Seinfeld
um,
at all?
Seinfeld, a little bit of Seinfeld. I feel like I've watched so much of it.
Yeah.
Um, the Golden Girls.
Golden Girls. That's a good
Oh
one.
yeah, it is. It is. It's a good light
With
show.
the gay butler that they murdered
Yeah,
mysteriously after the
I
first
think he
episode.
made like he was in like what 4 episodes in the
Something
first
like that.
season.
Yeah.
I'm definitely Dorothy, by the way, just in
Oh
case.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, hardcore.
Okay. Is that what you put on your like dating profiles?
I'll say yeah. What character? All the way B Arthur.
Uh-huh.
100%. She's
Yeah.
amazing. So,
Have you? What was the last date you went on before lockdown? You don't
um,
have to talk about that if you don't want to. I'm just curious.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, West Village. I
Okay.
don't. Yeah, Fairfax. I think was the last. That was the last time I was like out in the
Wow.
city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
and when was that?
just before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
like early February or mid February? No, mid March.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mid March. Mid
And
March.
um, have you been doing any like Zoom dates or anything like that?
You know, you know. There's some of that.
Okay.
There's some connecting via FaceTime.
My
So
my downstairs neighbor asked if you were single when she saw that I posted.
oh, did she?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, Tell
You
her
can
that
meet
I'm.
her when you come visit.
Kamsten is really who I'm, heavily involved with. If there
Really?
wasn't, yeah, yeah. It's
So
all about.
let's talk a little bit about Kamsten. So you've
Yeah,
just started recently your own design business, your own suit company, your own clothing company, and then this hits when you're not even a full year in, right?
yeah, yeah.
So what's that been like? And like, I mean, I'm going through something similar, but so it would be nice to hear your your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so it's I had like there were 4 samples that I had in production,
Mm,
ready to be made. I wanted to shoot like sort of a spring summer capsule, like that was the
yeah.
big plan.
Okay.
But some of those were with Italian fabrics, and then that was done.
Mm,
Um, so none of that is even ready to be produced. But the idea was like, okay, I want to give an identity to the brand and, just kind of have a feel for it. But obviously all of that got pushed back indefinitely. So,
yeah.
and I don't know. I mean, I know I should shoot more content with the stuff I have now, but
Mm,
I think it's just been, I guess you have a lot of people that maybe aren't in that space where they're ready to look at, purchasing things and thinking about, oh, okay, I need this for this event. So,
right.
um, but I still, it's still there. It's still ready
Yeah.
to go.
Have you
So
did you apply for a loan?
I didn't. I
No.
didn't
Too
know.
late now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's done. That's tapped out.
Me too. I didn't apply. I didn't apply in time either.
But how is Natty Adams?
I mean, I'm pretty much the same situation. I don't know when I'm going to sell another suit. I don't. I have a couple of people who said that they'll buy something for me in the fall
Mm-hmm.
to help support me. I think I might have to lower my prices. I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly not gonna. I certainly don't expect people to go out and buy suits immediately after this. I don't think that's gonna be top of their list.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It's not the fun thing to. I mean, for me, it's a lot of fun.
yeah,
I wear them during cocktail evening here
right.
by myself,
Yeah.
but I think people The good thing is that, there's a lot of longevity about tailored clothing.
Hmm.
But much like you, there were people that had reached out to me for spring, and
Yeah.
they were ready for events, and now it's like, okay, well, that's not happening.
I mean, this is wedding season right now, and
It is.
it's. I'll post this on my Instagram later. But a client of mine, the second to last suit I made before this all ended, his wedding got basically canceled, and he and his it was like just before everything went to lockdown and they closed down City Hall and all that kind of stuff. He and his wife went to City Hall with their rabbi. They all wore face masks and they signed the book and they got their license and everything. So they got married in time. But the whole thing has been postponed. My cousin's wedding's been postponed. I mean, Alana, who I was making her fiance's suit for their wedding in June, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it.
Yeah. And I think it feels like, I mean, there are people that obviously have invested so much and they've just had to cancel their entire weddings. There were a couple of people a couple of my clients had reached out to me for like work conferences. And another one for red carpet event, but none of that is going to happen anymore.
Right.
So, or it's either postponed indefinitely or just canceled altogether. Mm-hmm. I think that the best thing that I can do is just continue to post the content and just talk about how, this is still a fun world. I still enjoy wearing it, enjoy sort of being in it, and I think people do respond to that. So,
yeah,
we'll see. And hopefully, at some point, they'll be ready to buy again.
Right. Was this going to be your first fully thought out capsule collection? Is that the idea?
Yeah. I mean, everything from when I started, I was just kind of, trickling stuff out there. And then I wanted to do it for fall, but I, just kind of missed the boat on that. But for spring, there was a clear plan,
right?
Even down to like a photo shoot, spoken with a photographer. So everything was there. And then, but
what was the inspiration for the collection?
It's a little bit of that. I call it this sort of, if you think about kind of a Lenny meets a sort of Lapo,
Okay.
With a little bit of that French wave.
Lenny who?
Kravitz.
Oh, I thought you meant like Lenny from Of Mice and Men.
Not quite. The other Lenny.
Right.
The other Lenny.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just a little bit of that. I've always, as we all are, definitely influenced by musicians and their style.
Yeah.
But marrying some of the more classic components of tailoring. So I've just always
So a Lenny Kravitz inspired collection would be like tearaway crotch.
Leather pants. Just a summer leather suit that I will.
Summer leather suit.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Inspired by my Paul Smith leather pants that I can't button anymore.
Really? Is that just since the lockdown?
No, I mean I kind of bought them too tight, and I always sort of struggled when I wore them. So, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But that's the idea. It's just I think you have one of that was a seersucker with those massive lapels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so something like that, and I'm taking some of the pages from your book because you were doing that. Those sort of kind of like bootcut trousers before a lot of these other brands were like really exploded with them.
Because I'd started collecting cowboy boots, so I'd
started.
Yes.
Yeah. I was telling my friend about the story how you bought the white ostrich boots like after was it like you won on the tables or some shit like that?
Won playing baccarat in Nassau, Bahamas.
Yes. Yeah.
I wish I could have said that I walked across the casino floor and bought the boots right there, but I actually just ordered them on my phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's still cool.
Yeah,
it still makes for a great story.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some of that flavor, I've always wanted to make tailored just a bit more fun. Not like the menswear fun, like, oh, I'm gonna just twist my tie knot slightly askew.
Right.
And then, then I'll be breaking the rules.
Yeah.
But you know, that sort of
It's
don't give a shit attitude about it.
yeah, I like it. That I mean, I one of the things I think that you and I are kind of sympathetic about our approach to things, even though we have different tastes, you know, in details. But we both kind of like to have. I mean, they say that you know, menswear is all about the details and style is all about the
Yeah.
details, and that's true. But sometimes I really like a you know a slashing broad stroke of something in there to really kind
Yeah.
of like you know knock things off balance a little bit. So it's not just like oh well you know this tie blade is slightly, you know, the back tie blade is slightly longer than the front tie blade. So, you know, look
Yeah.
how subtle that is. Sometimes subtlety can be overrated.
Or, you know, okay, so this is a slightly lighter shade of navy, and that we've really revolutionized this fabric. And I'm like, wow, that's
Yeah.
okay. We can do something else.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you do Western pockets on your jackets,
Right.
yeah, like touches like that,
Mm-hmm.
they just make it fun. Or, you know, obviously wearing jackets. If I was more chiseled, I think I would go out of the house more with no shirt. But like, um, you know, the lapels, the trousers, but the fabric too,
Yeah.
making it a bit sexier.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's just like sort of a four-letter word in menswear, but
Yeah.
it shouldn't
But
be.
it shouldn't be. No, I mean,
Yeah,
I would, you would never find me going out of the house without a shirt, but nobody wants to see that. I do have a
Sarah.
client. I have a client down here who works out a lot, and he's got full chest tattoos, really like very well done chest tattoos. And I did a suit for him, and he sent me a picture of him wearing it without a shirt, and I was like, at first I thought he was wearing a shirt because it was like there's like some colors there, and then I
Yeah.
looked closer, and I was like, oh my god, he's not wearing a shirt. And I was like, oh, and I never in a million years would have told one of my clients not to wear a shirt with a suit, but it worked on him. It looked cool. I
It
mean,
works. Yeah.
yeah, it's. I don't think it's something everyone can do, but you know, if you're the kind of person that spends that much time on what your chest looks like, then sure.
Then why not? You know.
Yeah.
But, and I think that, you know, you can do that obviously when everything else, in terms of like the details we were talking about, when that precision is still there. Um, but you know, you look at that guy and think, oh, this looks fucking cool. Versus, I'm going to talk to him about the shape of his shoulder,
Right.
and you know,
Yeah.
we're going to spend an
Yeah.
hour on
Right.
that.
It's like if you meet. You and I talked about this a lot about like you know if you're at an event, say you're not at a menswear event, you're at like a normal party, and someone came up to you and started talking about like the width of your lapel, you'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? But
I don't
but
give
if
a
you
shit.
saw
Yeah,
someone who looks cool and you're like, I wonder what that person's story is. I wonder what you know. That's what the clothes should be about. They shouldn't be about themselves. They should be about the person wearing them, right? It's the vessel that holds the personality. It's not the other way around, you know.
oh god, yeah. And I would hope that, you know, the idea is that you should be more interesting, or at least,
Right.
you know, people should remember you first.
Yeah. Well, I'm always so disappointed when I see someone who's like dressed really cool, and I go up to them and I start talking to them, and they're like, all they can talk about is like, yeah, this is a Milanese buttonhole, and you know, this shoulder construction was soft, and I'm like, well, okay. What do you do? Like, you know, what's your life?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's something interesting,
You
and
just
then
you
yeah,
sit around with a ruler all day measuring your fucking shoulders, like.
yeah. I mean, I definitely I have those clients, and
Mm.
I've experienced that where, yeah, you know, okay, so can you make the vent like a half inch longer than typical?
Yeah.
I'm like, is that really going to make a difference when you're at, you know, when you're at a party? I feel like you're the guy who, like you said, he's practicing his tie knot in the mirror,
Right.
and he
Yeah.
doesn't leave the house until it's perfectly imperfect.
Do you think this obsession with inches might have something to do with a fragile male ego?
Oh yeah, it's probably their lack of inches. So I think that's one of the things that,
Why Donald Trump wears such a big tie?
that's why his trousers are so just wide and billowy.
Mm.
Um, yeah, don't get me started on that guy. But
I know we don't want to devolve into armchair punditry here. We could
yeah,
complain about Donald Trump all day.
we could.
But so you also, I mean, you and I work together in retail, and retail is totally screwed now. In fact, a well-known fashion brand that we worked for together has closed all shops but one in New York.
Yeah.
So what do you think the future of this means for retail, specifically for fashion, or just in general? I mean, are we completely screwed? Is everything going to be online now?
I think that considering stores like say something like a fast fashion, I think there'll always be a need for that because you'll always need something to grab and go the same day. And I
Mm.
also think that in the luxury sector, a lot of that will be untouched. You know, people still crave, a lot of those places are aspirational, so people still crave the experience. They
Yeah.
still crave, you know, I think even walking around with a certain bag, they want that service. They want everything that is
Mhm.
associated with a brand. And I also think that there are stores that are, you know, very specific to their clientele. You know, the Armory will be okay because they
Mhm.
are guys who absolutely love the details and who, you know, enjoy talking
Yeah.
about that. I think the more generic places are the ones that are going to be hit. The ones that they've either lost their identity over the last few
Mhm.
years, um, or you know, they've tried to cater to a few different markets. Those are the ones, but um, a lot of them, yes, a lot of them, I do feel like they're not going to survive, or they'll survive in a very different way than what they're accustomed to, and they'll have to readjust rapidly. Um,
Well, the whole thing about that luxury retail experience, I mean, it is all about the experience. The reason people would go to a boutique is because they want the they want the attention they get from the clerks. They like the way the displays look. They like the packaging it comes in. That's part of why they pay a premium for that. But I think that a lot of these places are not just not going to be able to afford the overhead to keep very many places open.
mm,
So they'll have like a showroom or a flagship store, and then maybe nothing else anywhere else. I mean, already the department stores are closing, and that was before this even began. Um, so I mean, because it seems like more and more people are perfectly happy to buy things online, which I'm disappointed in because I hate buying things online.
oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
Um, you know, when you're buying a fine garment, when you're buying a timepiece, you know, I think there's a lot that you need to see and touch and feel
Yeah.
and kind of understand how the fabric falls on you. You know, Mr. Porter is amazing,
Hmm.
but there's a lot that I would need to, you know, especially when you're spending a considerable amount of money. There's a lot that you need to understand and feel about a specific garment.
Right.
Um, so I, you know, and I've worked in retail, you know, long enough to know how many people come into the store and say, "Oh, okay, yeah, this didn't fit," or you know, this isn't what I thought it was going to be like, and then they end up spending time in the store and exchanging something, or you know, they have so many questions, so many specific questions
Yeah.
um, over the phone or over email to say, okay, well, what's the chest measure, the chest measurements, or what's the length of this shirt?
Mhm.
Well, if you just came in, then we could eliminate all of this back and forth.
Right.
Um, but you know, I mean, I think it's a lot of convenience for people, but a lot of
Mhm.
them do understand why they still need to go into stores, and that's my hope that
Yeah.
you know.
I gotta say, this is one of the things I'm the least optimistic about because I feel like we were already on this path. You making yourself another drink?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Right
I'm
on.
listening.
I feel like we were already on this path of people buying more and more things online. People not, I mean, to the point where I feel like such a generational difference where people who grew up shopping mainly online, especially if they didn't grow up in a city or a place where they could like walk to a shopping area, um, they don't like going to stores. They feel awkward asking for help. They don't, it's not something that they are used to doing. Whereas for us, that's part of the pleasure. We like helping customers, and the customers that came to us liked our help.
Yeah,
But we've already gone down this path where like there are fewer and fewer, just like there are fewer professional servers and waiters. There are fewer and fewer professional salespeople at stores and that kind of thing. That's now like just a summer job for teenagers, and then they move on to something else. So I feel like we were already down this sort of sad path. Um, Sorry, I'm going to close the window here because someone's doing a like a leaf blower or something.
that's a fantastic buttonhole in that denim jacket. Is that a Milanese buttonhole?
Stop looking at my buttonhole. Um,
Um, you know, I think a lot of it's up to the retailers and up to the salespeople.
mhm.
And this is, you know, everywhere. Anyone that's service based.
Yeah.
Obviously, retail is different than restaurants. People still enjoy, being in that atmosphere. But it really is about, the kind of the pressures on them, because you're also dealing with a much better informed customer.
Mhm.
There are blogs, even in the last 10 years that weren't available to customers for probably, decades before that.
Right.
So you have a customer that may know more than somebody who just started. So it's just, people in stores, I think a lot of them have to become, the experts, but also have to maintain this idea that it is a service. And, you know, this one experience may change someone's perception. And
Yeah.
I think that's the way I've always tried to approach it in retail.
Mhm.
Say, okay, I've got one shot to convert this person who may enjoy shopping online to say, this is the real value, with me assisting
Yeah. I
and
mean,
my expertise.
I feel like salesmanship is something in general that's kind of like an old-fashioned art form. It's a real joy if you're good at it. I mean, there's a real pleasure in like actually convincing someone to buy something for good reasons, and not just being like, oh, well, this is buy this because this is what's popular, what's being advertised, because this is on sale, or because you know, helping someone find what they actually want, they
Mhm.
might not have known, is really fun.
It is, and I think that comes across with customers too. When
Mhm.
you have a genuine joy, genuine appreciation of the merchandise of the
Yeah.
store, but also of them, what they need it for, what they're interested in, and I think they respond well to that.
Mhm.
So it's up to the salesperson, truly the sales professional, um, to do that. And I do think that still happens. And also, one of the other things is that, you know, the overhead, obviously, with e-tailers,
Mhm.
um, that's one of the things that's difficult to compete with.
Yeah.
Um, but, and that's why you have to make sure people get that experience when you're in front of them.
Yeah.
Is to explain, not in a condescending way, but, as much as you can about a product.
Right. Um, I mean, I think that there's sort of I mean, there are already so many businesses like ours that didn't have overhead
Yeah.
in the sense of like, paying a storefront rent. I think that might just increase, I guess. We might see more people doing that kind of thing. But if I can just shift from the business aspect of things to the design aspect of things,
Mhm.
what effects do you think this might have on fashion design in terms of not only just in terms of material and supplies and production and that kind of stuff, but also in terms of will people be making fashion that references this? We're already seeing people making, beautiful face masks and things.
I mean, I think, the face masks, that'll phase out. I think that, there might be a period where, you'll see things that are a bit more subdued. But I think that in general, people look to fashion because they like this, they like the allure of the glamour, and they like the pageantry, they like the beauty, and they want to be surrounded. So, it may take a while for designers to come back to that. The next few collections will probably reflect a world that's, changed drastically in just a matter of months. And like I said, it's going to be a bit more somber, but I think there'll still be um, a return to just, the glamour in general that we like, about fashion shows, and design. What was the other part of that?
Well, actually, it's interesting you mentioned that because it's something I was going to next week. I'm speaking to my friend Gwendolyn Grewal, who's a professor of fashion and philosophy and stuff. You met Gwendolyn, I think.
Mhm.
And one of the things I wanted to talk to her about, but I've talked to you about it too, is that there's this um, trends are very much shaped by the economy,
Yeah.
and one of the famous ones is that the length of skirts get shorter when times are good
Hmm.
economically, and they get longer when times are bad, um, which is a weird thing. Do you think there's any kind of menswear? I mean, there's obviously things like during wartime, lapels are thinner because there's less material and that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. People don't have cuffs on their trousers and all that. But do you think there are any other things you can think of that would be indicators of how society is doing that would be reflected in menswear?
Well, as far as menswear, I think the actual menswear, like the sort of pitchy peacocks and those guys, I think that, they may be they may use this as a reason to kind of celebrate, during the next, well, I think the next PT is like maybe in the fall. But I think they're still going to stick to their guns, but in general, I think you'll probably see something that's once again more subdued and quieter, just to reflect people who are just coming out of, a challenging time, mentally, financially. And so, they're using their money towards anything that they're going to get the most longevity out of. So, immediately you're going to see things that are a little bit quieter. And I think people are going to be thinking like that. You look at, I think, the way people are maybe examining what they have in their closets right now, what they reach for. And, they want the pieces that are lasting, the ones that offer, I guess, the most comfort, So in menswear, definitely on the quieter side, but I think it's up to other people, yourself, myself,
right?
To liven that up and to say, hey, you can still have fun.
Yeah,
we were in a tough time, but there still is, a bright spot in this world, and this still is an industry you can have a lot of fun and celebrate, with your clothing.
I mean, that's interesting because that takes me to a broader question that I've been asking some version of this to everyone I've been speaking to so far is, when this is over, do you think it's going to be, do you think people are going to breathe a great sigh of relief and go out there and go crazy? Or do you think people are going to be much more cautious? Like, do you think people are going to be hugging strangers and making out in the streets? Or do you think people are going to be very standoffish and wary of each other?
Probably standoffish. I don't think, I was talking with my friend earlier today, and I don't see, okay, say this does end in New York on the 15th. I don't think you're going to see those massive rooftop gatherings that you would have seen last summer. I don't think you're going to see people smashed together in clubs like maybe they once were. You're going to see just a lot more caution, because no one knows the lingering effects of this. So we'll see. Maybe, see how things go by the winter. That could change, but immediately, definitely a lot more caution.
When do you think you'll go on your next date? Sorry if that's a sore spot. I would be worried about that.
Oh, oh God. Let's see. If I get out of here, I gotta I don't know. It's a good question. It's a good question.
I mean, I think it's obviously, it'll be different. I think in New Orleans, people are, and probably in Florida, people are a bit more reckless and probably will go out and start, sharing cigarettes and drugs and booze and.
Which is wonderful. Yeah.
But it also could lead to another spike. I mean, who knows? It's probably one of the reasons that, these places have had spikes.
That's probably what you won't see, is anyone, sharing cigarettes and drugs. And it's like, well, you know what? No. Anyone who does that, they're just going to do that regardless, because
that's true.
They're like, hey, what the fuck else are we going to do right now? Yeah. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. Do you think do you think you're going to behave differently towards other people, or you think you're going to change your lifestyle because of this?
Me, no. Good God, no. I don't really worry about much.
No, you're a very laid back guy.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm like, okay. I don't think, I'm not gonna, withdraw if anyone, goes in for a hug or anything like that. But I'll definitely respect it if someone, doesn't feel comfortable, with that. But, I don't see myself like jumping into any kind of like big social scene yet, even when, the lockdown is lifted. And I think a lot of New Yorkers are like that, just because of, this being the epicenter, especially here, they're a bit more cautious than other places. So that's just the word of the day right now.
Cautious,
caution.
Yeah.
And then, when that's done, then we can say, hey, the hell with it. We're just going to have orgies and share drugs again.
Right. We're going to, the theme for our wedding is entirely changed now. Um, what do you have any like post quarantine resolutions? Things that you are like, oh man, I can't wait to do that again, or things that like, you know what, I've never done that before. I need to do that again. I need to do that for the first time because this is also fragile.
Post quarantine. Resolutions. Yeah, I never really make resolutions.
Okay.
They're just there are things that I don't know if there's anything that I'm like itching to do once this is over. I think it's really just being in and of the city. I do miss the energy. Um, so I think just the daily grind, maybe the stress that comes with it, but all that kind of feeds me a little bit.
Mm.
And I think I definitely miss that. It's kind of like I liken this to being back home where there's absolutely nothing to do.
Like in the
So
suburbs, you mean?
yeah, and when I go back to Florida to see my parents, like I'm just itching to come back to New York. Um,
Yeah.
it's actually, you know what? I wouldn't mind getting I think a lot of people are gonna maybe stoked about getting some post quarantine ink. So maybe I'll.
Oh, do you have a specific tattoo in mind?
Yeah. I've got a few in mind. So
Can you share any of them?
yeah, well, I've always liked. I want to get some things to kind of touch on my parents, some of their initials, but I also wanted to get buttonholes.
Really?
Yeah, Milanese buttonholes.
They have to be Milanese, though.
They have to be Milanese. So I'm going to show the tattoo artist, hey, this is a regular buttonhole.
Yeah.
This is a Milanese buttonhole. I just need the detail to
I feel
be.
like you need to go to Italy to get it done, too.
Um,
That would help boost the Italian economy.
that would.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get a good flight out there.
Probably. Yeah, you have any plans? Why don't you just take a cruise, man?
You know what? Yeah. I would love to be boxed up in a 50
Yeah.
square foot room.
I'm never, ever taking a cruise. I was never planning on it in the first place, but like,
You don't need to.
good God. Well, I mean, I don't know why anyone would after this.
Well, listen, it was terrible before this.
Yeah.
I went on one like back in the fall, bachelor party, wonderful old friends.
Yeah.
I don't ever need to do that again.
Right.
I took like 5 Dramamine a day. So, somehow I made it. But yeah. What about you? Do you have any?
I want to spend more time outside, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I want to I want to try not to waste beautiful days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to, if I can go to the park on a beautiful day, I'm going to be in the park. That's what I want to do. I want to ride horses. I don't know, because I did that a couple times when I was a kid, not regularly or anything like that, but I remember enjoying it, and I always thought it was quite romantic and cool. And I feel like now that I live down here in the South, and there's like plenty of places where I can, the park has like a stable. I'd like to do that.
There you go.
More stuff outdoors. I wanted to go shooting more often when I moved down here, but I still can't drive. So I should probably learn how to drive.
See, that's
because
everything else is easy.
Sarah won't drive me to the pistol range. So if I want to go and start shooting for recreation, I will have to learn how to drive first.
Well, I'll
and
tell
then
you
I can
what.
do drive-bys. So.
Well, I come down there, I rent a car, we go shoot.
There, perfect.
And then we can do like a menswear drive-by.
Yeah, on horses even, maybe.
Yes, yeah. I mean.
You can ride horses in the French Quarter. It's like totally legal. If you have a horse, you can just kind of take it here.
I did not know that.
In Louisiana, there's the black cowboy culture in Southeast Louisiana here. And they ride around and they wear like a combination streetwear and Western wear. It's great. They wear like cowboy boots. No, they wear like Jordans and a bandana, and like a cowboy hat.
That kind of just sounds like a gang.
But they ride horse. They come down here in the they bring their trailers, and they park under the freeway, and then they ride their horses through the French Quarter. It looks fucking cool.
What color are these bandanas?
They're red.
All red?
Well, the one I saw was red. The only one I noticed was red.
Okay, I'm just saying.
This is like the Louisiana Bloods. They all ride horses.
In that case, awesome. I will absolutely leave my blue bandana here. I don't want any trouble down there.
Yeah.
I can't explain to them, oh, I just wanted a pop of color, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how bandanas can get you into trouble in all kinds of different neighborhoods, gay neighborhoods, uh, like neighborhoods where there are gangs.
mm,
Yeah, so you could
sure.
like walk from in New Orleans. You could walk around my neighborhood with like a blue bandana in your back pocket, and people would be thinking that maybe you're into something kinky. I don't know what the codes are.
I never knew that. I just kind of
You don't
assumed
know
it.
about bandana codes?
I didn't. I knew about the band, just when I would visit my dad in LA when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
he just said, okay, these are the colors you can't wear out.
But that was for gangs.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
know
So
about the gay bandana code.
I didn't, but I'm very intrigued by this now.
Is it a thing that they, back when it was more or less underground, it depended on which you wear a bandana in your back pocket, like on the Bruce Springsteen album cover, and it depended on which pocket you wore it in and what color it was, and it all signified, whether you're a top or a bottom, or you like to get peed on, or all kinds of things. So yeah, I mean, it's now all this stuff is, you can just like go online and do a search for whatever you're into. You don't need to signal it with bandana, but
But you still could.
You could.
You still could.
I don't know if anyone knows what that means anymore. Like they used to have fan codes too. Ladies would have fan codes in the 19th century, where you would be at the opera and you would, you'd move your fan in a certain way that would signal things to the men in the box opposite you.
See? But Sean Connery wouldn't have paid attention to whatever you're signaling.
No, he would have just knocked the fan out of your hand and shoved you against a wall or something.
And then, yeah, that's it.
And speaking of problematic men, Woody Allen in his movie where he does Love and Death, where he does War and Peace. It's like his spoof on War and Peace. He's got a whole scene where he's flirting with a fan with a woman in an opera box. It's quite funny. I'm not going to comment on any of that, but
I've only seen one Woody Allen film, so.
Oh, which one?
Whatever works.
That's a weird one to have seen.
I know.
I feel like you would actually really like. I mean, I know it sucks because now people are like, you shouldn't be watching them, but so you haven't already watched them, which is a shame because they're very good movies, quite a few of them. I go watch Sleeper and Annie Hall.
Okay, Annie Hall, it's on the list.
Oh, well, no, you should see Hannah and Her Sisters with Michael Caine.
Oh, well, okay, that's all you have to say, Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. So far we've. Anything else you want to recommend? Any R. Kelly songs to me, or Harvey Weinstein production?
The first season of The Cosby Show. I'll talk about that. I think we need to talk about the Gordon Gartrell sweater that Theo was wearing.
We're gonna get so many followers if we like skirt controversy more.
Well, that's what the people respond to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. They don't care about being PC.
I've been actually, speaking of which, I've been really enjoying like binging Dave Chappelle's stuff. I hadn't watched any of his recent specials, and they're really good. And it's interesting because I watched them with Sarah, and there are things that like she's widely offended by, but then when we watch the whole thing at the end, it's like, oh well, I'm glad I watched that all the way through because it is kind of like layered and nuanced and very
ties everything together incredibly well.
Yeah.
Listen. Okay, I get it. There's a lot of reason to be offended, especially if you listen to the joke and then that's it. But you have to finish the special to understand. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's that brilliant.
Yeah, he's he's probably the best joke teller I can think of. Did you? Well, one of the things I wanted to say is that after this is over, I kind of want to be less. I want to be more direct with people and less kind of afraid of being honest and truthful with people and kind of. I don't want to necessarily hide my opinion. I'm not saying I want to go around telling people what I think of them any more than I already do, but I do think I might want to just like actually try to engage people in conversations rather than just be like, this ain't worth it. Well, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think I'm probably more the second way, where I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's okay.
Pick your battles.
I could probably stand to be a bit more direct, in general, but
Yeah. I think you're direct enough.
yeah, yeah. You know,
you're good because you're very you're so like you put people at their ease so much.
That's my job.
When you're direct, it's like a you just, like slip something past them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're funny about it, then they're like, "Oh, is he joking?"
If you're funny
I don't
about
know.
it, you can get away with anything.
Anything. I think
Like
that's
Woody
my
Allen
goal.
or Bill Cosby. Sorry.
You know, Bill Cosby, bad. Heathcliff Huxtable,
Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I think we're about to get bounced off this thing because we're about on our time limit. But Kamau, this is such a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We'll do this without the camera on sometime, and we'll just hang out and talk and chat.
Yes. We'll have martinis.
I feel so bad that you're stuck remotely in the Bronx without the buzz of the city around you,
just
so
screens all day. That's it.
Yeah.
That's my life.
Oh man. Well, come up with some brilliant. I expect you to emerge from this with like really brilliant designs.
We'll see. I'm working on it.
Do you sketch? Do you draw?
Kind of.
Okay.
The factory's been good about translating my sketches, which aren't great. Okay. So, I can sketch with an explanation of what I want and measurements.
I've been practicing art so that I can partly so I could maybe sketch clothing. See, this is a 3-piece suit that I did.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I sent it to the factory. They didn't know what to do with it though. So.
Well, I love how there's a taper and then the leg just sort of flares out a bit.
Yeah, there's a Milanese buttonhole there too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, and those lapels, incredible.
Thanks.
See, this is what I need.
I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Have a good night.
I'll speak to you soon. I'll put this up on my YouTube channel if that's okay.
Absolutely.
And thanks for the chat. Always a pleasure, sir.
Indeed. Cheers.
Night.
All right.